Welcome, dear viewers, to the segment where different stories and different experiences meet. Alhamdulillah, we are still with our wonderful guest, Sister Denisa, Sister April, and as in the last episode, we were talking to Sister April that, what made her to accept Islam, or she's reading about Islam, but also this is something very important that we will just ask in this episode. Now, Sister, you read about Islam, you was ready to accept Islam,
yes.
Even though you completely was ready, but still you took some time because some people said that you're not ready, but
right.
I think this is not the right way to say any person who is willing to
yes.
accept Islam, you have to wait,
yes.
because he can or she can wait after accepting Islam
yes.
to learn other things.
Of course, exactly.
But it's
yes.
never the case that you learn almost everything and
yes.
then accept Islam.
Right. Yes.
Now, but again, is there any story behind, do you think there's a sign, because you already believed in Allah, you
yes.
believed in one God or
of
God.
Course. Yes.
So is there any story behind your ending up with Islam?
Of course. Well, I came from a very hard childhood, so I was exposed to a lot of trials. For example, there was alcohol and drug abuse around me. So when I opened that book, like I said before, and Islam was prohibited, alcohol and drugs, Islam was very firm, like no, not 90%, 100%. And I used to say to myself, well, if I didn't have that in my life and that wasn't around, then maybe I wouldn't have had all the problems. So that was definitely something that was in my mind, and I was trying to okay, if I didn't have this, and if we did it like this, then we wouldn't have the problems. And I think Islam is so great about dealing with, get away from, the bad stuff, so you can live in peace. I mean, you can't live in peace when you have all those wrong things around you.
So did you try to get out of the situation? What exactly then?
Yes, I did. In the end, I ended up going into a care home, and they actually referred me to many other religions besides Islam. But I always had my Quran there anyway, and I would just knew that it was right for me. And
so you're having Quran and you're going, even checking for other options?
No, people were just throwing other religions in my face. Yeah, and I was just like, no, Islam, because it was systematic. It just made sense to me. It was the only religion that said it's this or nothing else.
I will come back to you and continue because mashallah, it seems very interesting, and then what will happen later. But again, coming back to Sister Denisa. Now, again, when you accepted Islam, what was first of all the feeling, and then the people surrounding you, what exactly happened with them?
The feeling is such a warmth. It was a warm feeling, a rightness, if I can express it that way, that I felt like I'm where I'm supposed to be, like I'm home, in a sense. And the people that I was around gave me the support and all the information that I needed to be able to weigh and decide if this was right for me or not. And the more that I listened and the more that I read and the more that I was around them, that the caring and the love and the sharing, it meant so much. And it was a time in my life where I was starting my life basically over, in a sense.
Yeah.
And so this feeling inside is like rightness, like I'm home.
MashaAllah.
Okay, like that. So I knew that this has got to be it.
MashaAllah.
Yeah,
That's such a wonderful feeling. I can, MashaAllah, imagine that, especially when you're surrounded with Muslims and you see the support. And is there any reaction from your family members?
Well, to be honest, I've not been home since I converted 3 years ago, and I've not told them yet.
Okay, so I think you're waiting for the right moment to tell them.
I definitely have to wait to the right moment to tell them, for them to understand.
MashaAllah.
Otherwise, it would be the best way to do.
Okay, so same question to you, Sister April. Now, you accepted Islam.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, you find things are, balanced and suitable and everything. Alhamdulillah, you're walking well. But again, you have a family members somewhere here and there.
Of course.
How does the family members reaction?
I'm very grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because I've been learning Islam since I was 11. So my mum and my dad knew about my interest because I was wearing hijab, and they were like, what are you doing? What? I would go into a bar and I would be wearing a hijab, and my dad would be like, take it like, what were you doing? I was just like, no, I like this is what I want to do. And a lot of people were embarrassed by me actually, but it was just stuck there. My mum, she was more like whatever makes you happy, and she could see that it was peaceful. For me, I calmed down, I had anger issues, but when I was learning more about Islam, I was more respectful to my parents, alhamdulillah. But I think I didn't have really any problems because again, they knew of my interest to Islam.
MashaAllah. So no hard time, nothing, because they already start feeling step by step that, okay, and I think even the age factor, maybe they thought, that, okay, you're still young and you're wearing hijab, okay, let her just...
Oh no, one of my uncles, he told me, you're going to grow out of this. And then when I took my conversion at 19, I go back home and he's like, she knows what she wants and she's certain.
MashaAllah.
And I stick to my guns, I stick to my word and that's how it is. And I think, again, we're all an example to each other, so I believe
honestly, I should say that I'm really proud of your family members, that mashallah, they are supportive, alhamdulillah, and I think this is every person should be, to support their children in a good way, of course, like,
definitely.
thinking, letting them do whatever they want to do in a good way. And I don't sometimes understand that some people see the change in their family members, in their sons or daughter or whosoever, brother or sister, and they're changed into good. So I know some people after accepting Islam, they stopped the anger issue is gone almost. Drinking alcohol and all these things, they stopped. But the family reaction is still, why? Because it's not based on logic and what they are seeing. It's like, how can you change yourself into some other people's religion, for example? Even we know that it's a religion of Allah, it's not religion of a man or a culture or a country. But I think, alhamdulillah, I'm really proud of, mashallah, your family, that alhamdulillah, they are supportive. And hopefully we make dua that, they will be also supportive to you once you tell them. So now we'll shift to another question, since I think you accepted Islam in 2001.
2001, yes.
And sister, you 2015?
15, yes.
15, mashallah. So there's a gap. Let's start with Sister April. You accepted Islam.
Yes.
After accepting Islam, you have to pray. So now there's immediate action, right? So now, how you managed to pray, to memorize the principles and basic knowledge about Islam?
Okay, well, again, it goes further back to when I was 11 years old until 19 when I really took my shahada, So after my shahada, then I knew that that's it, right? I'm really held accountable. So it was kind of easy for me, but I was learning Al-Fatiha, I was learning like the prayer, so I had my book. And I was
so someone is teaching you, or you're reading from the book?
I'm reading from the book by myself. But throughout those years, I did have some Muslims teach me how, how you pray and the rak'ah and everything. So I was on my own, but again, I really believe that Allah is just and He's there, in His knowledge, of course. That if I ask Him, He will help me. And alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Yes.
And same thing with Sister Denisa. Now you accepted Islam. I know that you're surrounded by wonderful people supporting you, but still, you have to pray, and before the prayer wudu, and there's Fatiha, there's the basics, things that you have to start with. So how you dealt with?
Actually, I guess I was very lucky in that sense that there's a place that is new that they have for new Muslim converts. And so I took a prayer class. So I was with other new Muslims and learning how to pray properly and the proper things to do.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So alhamdulillah, and the support is always, should be there.
The support
and
is
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all and bless us all, that He's supporting us somewhere and somehow. And as the sister said, Allah is always there, with His knowledge and with the support. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. By that, respected viewers, brothers and sisters, the time is up for this episode. But inshallah ta'ala, we will continue in the next episode. For now, we will shift to another segment. So stay with us, inshallah.